But here's where it gets interesting. Foxconn, the company that makes your iPads and your iPhones, has announced that they're getting into the electric vehicle market. What? A computer company getting into the EV market? Does that make sense? Well, it totally makes sense because an EV only has 18 moving parts. An EV is a computer tablet on wheels. Okay? Think of an electric vehicle as a computer tablet on wheels. That's what it is. When you plug in your EV at night, you don't just charge it. You're downloading software, just like your computer. That's what it is. And that's why we have computer companies getting into this business. I mean, Tesla is a computer company, essentially. It didn't come from Detroit. It's a computer company. But wait, there's more. Xiaomi, does anyone know Xiaomi? So Xiaomi is the third largest smartphone maker on Earth. There's Samsung, there's Apple, there's Xiaomi. Xiaomi is getting into the electric vehicle market. Does that make sense? Now it does, because it's a computer tablet on wheels. So Xiaomi is getting into that market too. And a certain company in Cupertino called Apple leaked that they're also building an electric vehicle. Now, they haven't said that they'll get into that market, but they're building one. So it's computer companies that are doing this. So EVs are computer tablets on wheels. So let me give you my summary of electric vehicles. The mass migration, the tipping point of the mass migration from gasoline vehicles to electric will happen around 2017, 2018. That's when it all starts. 2, all new mass market vehicles will be electric by 2030, all of them. Essentially, gasoline vehicles, diesel vehicles will not be able to compete, period. I mean, the numbers actually say before 2030, but let's assume there are bumps, no pun intended, in the road. So essentially, internal combustion engine car manufacturers, disrupted. And by extension, if we don't need gasoline vehicles, what else is obsolete? Gasoline, diesel, oil is going to become obsolete by 2030 because 90% of oil is used in transportation, and all of transportation will be electric. Now, here's another, but wait, there's more, right? There's always more. EVs are mobile power plants. Think about it. They have 50 kilowatt hours of storage. Now, the average American, and I hear the average New Zealander, consumes about 30 kilowatt hours per day of electricity. Now, if a 200-mile vehicle, EV, is what we need, that means we're going to have 1.6 days of electricity usage in the car. So we can go to work, charge at work, or we can go to, the supermarket and charge. We can go to the mall and charge and bring all that back home. So electricity is not just being pushed to the edges, it's also mobile now, just like computing. And we're going to have, basically, we're going to be driving around with 1 to 2 days of electricity in the car. Okay, so we're going to be able to charge the house with the car, or the car with the house. So electricity is becoming mobile now. And the other thing that you can do with electric vehicles in the future is that they become an essential part of the infrastructure. So they become power plants. You can actually start making money by plugging them into the grid and balancing the grid with EVs and doing peaking power and demand response and all those things that the grid is very good at doing. So mobility is going to become an essential part of the grid, and electric vehicles are going to do that for us. So let me summarize this presentation. 2015, we're here, essentially. We're here. You know, these markets, solar, storage, EVs, smart devices, are 1%. We're the one car in that picture. And you may lose sight of that one car. And because it's that 1 or 2%, you may think, it's going to take a long time for this to happen, okay? But we saw where this picture ended and how quickly it got disrupted, right? So the conclusion is that the clean disruption, so energy and transportation are being distributed, so from central to user-based. They're being digitized, so a lot of data is going to go back and forth between all these smart devices. Dematerialized, meaning that we're not going to need atom-based sources of energy. Coal, gas, oil, nukes, not atom-based. It's all going to become electron, right? It's all going to become photons. And demonetized. Demonetized because when we get rid of all of these sources of energy, then the biggest revenue source of an $8 trillion industry, oil, gas, coal, gone. So just like we went from film camera to digital camera, we demonetized photography. Does that make sense? So by doing that, we're doing the same thing with energy and transportation. And they have become classic Silicon Valley technologies. They're moving at Moore's law. EVs are essentially computers on wheels. Generation, storage, and intelligence are becoming mobile. They're pushing to the edges. And when you look at all of these exponential cost curves and the business model innovations, then disruption is not just inevitable, it's imminent. We're going to see it. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen very soon. And the skills that we need to run this new infrastructure of energy and transportation, and the technologies and the organizations and the culture are different from the ones that we have used for 100 years to run the existing infrastructure of energy and transportation. Solar, energy storage, electric vehicles, smart devices, enabled by a lot of these other technologies, artificial intelligence, sensors, big data, mobility, and all that stuff. They're going to change everything, and that's going to happen over the next 5 to 15 years. And we'll see more changes over the next few years than we've seen essentially in a century. And essentially, the companies and the countries that lead this disruption of $12 trillion a year essentially are the ones that are going to lead the 21st century. And as you can see, this is not in the future. This is happening, and this is happening right now. Thank you.